This tutorial will be covering our watch list widget. When you first log into SONAR, at the very top of your screen, you'll want to click on Custom to start your own custom page. You'll click the Create page at the bottom of that list and name your page. Once this page loads, you'll notice in the top right corner there is an Add Widget button. This will pop out the Widgets panel where you can choose any of the available widgets. We have several different types of watch lists that we'll be covering through this tutorial. So we'll start with the standard. No matter what watch list display that you choose, this is the screen that will show first. So you can title that new watch list based off of the data set that you're wanting to pull up. If it's your main outbound markets, whatever you want to name it, feel free to title that here. Then you'll click Manage Symbols. Now this is going to show the index categories where you can filter through any of these categories to pull up the data sets that you need, or you can type in the specific data set with the search icon, or we even have pre-existing lists for you to choose. So we have some default, and then we also have custom symbol list. So under the default, you'll notice there's OTRI for all markets. So if we click that and hit submit, it is going to load all 135 markets for the outbound tender rejection index in our selected symbols window to the right side. You can remove any markets that may have been added on accident or those that you don't need, and then click done. It'll redisplay them in the window here before you save the watch list, and then you can also edit the display type here. We've already chosen standard, so I'm just going to click save. When the watch list loads, you'll have set columns that will be displayed to you. Name is going to be the SONAR market code. The description is going to show you the data set and granularity that you have pulled up. So in this case, outbound tender rejections. This first row is for the Allentown, PA market. Value is going to be the last reported data set. So this is the rejection percentage for Allentown as of yesterday, the change, and then ultimately that percent change. Now your watch list for the standard is going to show you that change and however often the data set is updated. So rejections are daily. That means this is a day over day change. Greens are increases, reds are decreases. If you hover over any of the columns, you're able to reorganize the chart based off of, highest to lowest value, lowest to highest value, however you want. Same with that change and percent change. We also have filter options available to you based off of the column headers that you have. So value change or percent change. If you wanted to just look at markets that have seen more than a 5% change, you would be able to filter down to that as well. You can also choose what columns you want to be displayed. So if you say, for example, didn't want to see that change, but are interested in the 52-week low versus the 52-week high, and maybe you also wanted to keep an eye on that overall market share. So your market share is based off of a percentage. The higher the percent, the more outbound volume that market handles, and the more significant capacity changes in that area will be higher likelihood of impacting neighboring markets. Where your smaller market share areas, significant changes in capacity here may not affect those neighboring markets and may just be solely isolated to that market itself. If you click the pencil at just above the display columns there, it will take you back into the edit where you can manage your symbols again, remove any markets, change your title, or even change that display type. So if we go to the next heat map list, this functions exactly the same as your standard watch list, except instead of the numbers being color coded for your increases or decreases, the entire row is. So greens are still going to be your increases, reds are going to be decreases. But you'll notice there's also a grayed out where if there's been little to no change, it's not going to show any sort of color. Going back to our pencil, we'll go ahead and jump to our tree map and click save. The tree map is very different in the sense that you have the way it's organized is the bottom number in each box is going to be the last reported value. The top number is going to be that day over day percent change. Your largest value is going to be in the top left corner, and then it's going to go diagonal to your lowest value in the bottom right. The deeper the color, so your darker reds are going to be a higher percent change, darker greens are going to be a higher percent change, and then the lighter, whiter the market gets, the lower that percent changes. There is filter options here as well. So if you wanted to change the percent change time period and say to a week over week view, month over month view, you would be able to do that here. So if we choose weekly, all that's going to do is change that top percent number in each of these boxes to that week over week percent change. If we were to go out to monthly, you'll see that the markets stay in those same locations, and it's just changing that percent change in whatever time period you have chosen. You can click on any of these boxes. If it is a significant change, you wanted to dive in deeper, how long has this change been happening? Overlay additional data sets, you're able to do that by popping out a chart to dive in deeper. If we go back to our pencil, we also have our gauge charts. And the gauge charts are going to show you the 52-week low, 52-week high. The value in the center is going to be the last reported value. And then the overall gauge, red meaning it's closer to the low end, greens meaning it's tipping over closer to the higher end of where that's been, but just showing you an overall gauge of the current value versus the last 52 weeks. Again, clicking on any of these boxes will display a chart of that information for you as well. And then if we go back to our pencil, the last watch list that I am going to show you is the market table. And the market table is really great because it allows you to view multiple data sets for multiple markets all at the same time. So for example, if we were to pull up our outbound tender volume, along with the outbound tender rejections, we can also add our head haul index and really any data set you choose to add. Click done once you have all of those selected and save. Once the market table loads, you'll notice that you have all of the data sets as your rows, and then any of the markets you have pulled up as the columns. Now the boxes themselves function pretty much the same way as the tree map boxes, where the bottom value is going to be the last reported data set or that value. And then the top percent is the percent change in whatever time period you have chosen. So again, if you go to your filter, it's going to show that percent change time period. So right now we have it set for weekly. So Albuquerque, New Mexico has seen a 58.2% decrease in those rejections compared to this time last week. That is all of the different view options for our watch list. We hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you have any questions, please reach out to your customer success manager or CS@freightwaves.com. Thanks for watching.